All right, how's it going, everyone? This is the Week 8 update of building our Ryan home St. Lawrence, and for this week's update, we've got a lot, and I really do mean a lot to talk about. So this is going to be a 3-part video where I'm going to go over a few different things. So everything you're going to see here took place on Friday, January 17th, and the key thing that took place for this Week 8 update was the fact that, number one, we had our pre-drywall meeting with our PM, and so you're going to see a lot of content from that. And then we also had our independent inspection done for the pre-drywall stage, and that took place right after the pre-drywall meeting. So I'm first going to go over some exterior progress here on the home, as well as the community progress overall. Then I'll take us inside for the pre-drywall meeting, and I'm going to give you a full run-through of everything that included. And then for the final portion of the video, I'll go through our pre-drywall inspection and what our inspector found throughout the home. So on the exterior side of things, as you can see, there is a lot that took place in the past week. So while we had our pre-drywall meeting and the inspection going on, as you can see, we had siding contractors working on the home on all the different sides of the home, also the different trim, fascia, soffits, all of those different elements. Of course, for them to even be working on this also means that the house was fully wrapped in house wrap during the course of the week. Something else I'll also note here is the fact that the front porch has now been poured. You can see we had a couple more windows placed, such as that double set of windows towards the top right, where the owner's bedroom closet is. Although that window on the first floor near the stairs is still missing and is yet to be delivered, and there are a number of the windows that, due to damage, will need to be replaced later, that our PM did mention to us. Now, these siding contractors work pretty fast. In fact, towards the end of the day, they were already applying shutters to at least the first level of the home. And while there's still some elements missing on the exterior, such as the garage doors or the stone water table, which is yet to be installed, we can really start to see what this home is going to look like as it nears closer and closer to completion. Now, while we are at the Week 8 point of the build, it's been a little bit since I gave a community progress update, and so I figured I would talk a bit about that. Now, I did mention in a previous video that our PM mentioned to us that they were intending to start one home a week in this community, and of course ours, excluding the model, was the first to build. At this point, and you can do your own math as we scan over the Phase 1 portion of the community, I count 9 homes that are currently under construction. That includes another St. Lawrence along the top of the left there, a couple of Corsicas also along the top, a few Versailles, a couple of Powells that are adjacent to each other there, and then of course we have ours, which is the only one on our street thus far, which is a St. Lawrence. Now, progress-wise, interestingly enough, our PM did note the fact that our build is still largely on schedule. So we had discussed a late March, early April timeframe for settlement closing. That still remains the case, and as a fun fact, at our pre-construction meeting a few months back, the tentative date for our pre-drywall meeting was going to be January 13th. Here we are a few months later with the actual build having taken shape, and with weather and all sorts of other things that could have impacted the timeline, and our actual pre-drywall meeting was about 4 days after the intended date. So I have to say that's been pretty impressive overall, and Ryan definitely sticks to a pretty tight timeline. Now, our PM did mention to us that some of the homes started after ours are running at least around a week or two late, if not more. We had the benefit of having our basement foundation poured prior to the sub-freezing and snowy conditions that we've seen at least the past few weeks here in New Jersey. This is one of the realities of building a home in any colder climate here in the winter. You kind of never know what you're going to get. I think we've made out so far relatively unscathed, but there's definitely the potential to impact your timeline. And so now let's make our way inside for the pre-drywall meeting with our PM. So of course, at this pre-drywall meeting and this point of the construction process, we have a lot of the main functions of the home: plumbing, HVAC, electrical. This is largely complete, and this is right at the point before Ryan begins to add insulation, drywall, and really take sort of the latter half of the construction stage where the interior of the home starts to take shape more significantly. This is really one of the last times to see the home before the walls are covered, and, well, a lot of that stuff gets buried behind the drywall, behind insulation, and so it's a good opportunity to see the build, document it, take notes, and just get a good sense of where things are for later down the line. And it is really also at this point that you would want to get a pre-drywall inspection as well. Yes, before the insulation, before the drywall goes up. And so that is why we had them really one after the other. So we had our pre-drywall meeting, and quite literally right after that, our inspector came and did his pre-drywall inspection. Now, one thing I will note is that I am a videographer and photographer. However, my main goal in this pre-drywall meeting was to, well, pay attention to what was going on and what our PM was saying. So in some cases, maybe not my finest videography work. However, what I will say is I did get a chance to go through the different rooms after the fact and capture B-roll of all the walls, the ceilings, all the different elements that he was talking about, and all the different important parts of the build. I will show that on screen as I go through the different parts of the home that we walk through. So without further ado, here is our pre-drywall meeting.
We're in the two-car portion of your garage. unfortunately, they're going to be nailing some things. So
Yeah.
we're going to have to talk through that. Shed roof here, and then this soffit gets built down here. This is all going to be insulated in the roof here, and then obviously we drywall everything. I have your garage doors on schedule to come out next week.
Okay.
So you'll have a single motor that gets installed here, and then one large door. And then over here on this side, it's going to be the smaller single door as well with a motor. There's your receptacle there for the motor to plug into. Other than that, you'll see receptacles throughout. So we have some weatherproof receptacles. These are all GFI protected receptacles. And then there's your 200 amp service for the electrical panel there.
Okay.
We have a 200 amp service there. That's going to be your main panel there, and that's going to have all of your breakers there for every circuit in the home. And then otherwise in here, you're going to have one light there, a second light there, and then you're going to have a singular light over on that side of the third car garage. Those will just be like bare bulbs hanging out. They're not going to be like a fixed fixture. The garage is still considered like an unfinished area, even though we do drywall in here. But other than that, there's not too much else that'll get done in here. Obviously, this will get swept out and power washed, but that's the extent of how we do the garage.
Right. And everything, like you said, garage walls, obviously the ceiling insulated.
Yeah, so everything up against your conditioned spaces is all insulated. So
Okay,
this wall here, and then the whole ceiling here.
Okay.
Okay?
Do you know what insulation?
We use all R15 batt insulation in your 2x4 walls, R49 blown-in insulation, which will go upstairs and in that area. R10 insulation for underneath the perimeter of the concrete slab. And then we've got the FSK insulation that wraps the unfinished area for your utility closets and mechanical room down in the basement.
Okay.
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 Living room here, and then kitchen / dining room area in here. So fireplace is all framed out. I need them to do a couple more things. I have them put a platform, and then we do a little bit additional insulation than our plans are even called for there, just to insulate that a little bit better. Since it is cantilevered out the side of the home, it's not like a full chimney that goes all the way up. This one is like an actual wood burning fireplace. So you'll have an access panel there underneath it, so you'll be able to turn the gas on and off, turn the fireplace on and off. It will have a remote, though.
Okay.
And then you have all of your LED lights overhead. So those are all mounted in those boxes, and then we have your pendant arc over here on the island as well. So that's what these two guys are.
Okay.
A lot of light in here, especially with the lighting packages that you picked. It's between the natural light from all of these windows and then all the LED light packages that you chose, there's no shortage of light in your home. And then we have your TV cable location there on that wall. And then we've also got this entryway, so it's going to be closet, car closet, or bathroom. So toilet flange, so your toilet will be over there on that side. You have an exhaust fan in every bathroom as well. And then your sink. You'll have your water lines and drain, and then a light fixture overhead of the mirror. Okay, and then we have a receptacle in every bathroom as well. Bathrooms with the double vanities will have two receptacles mounted. So you'll have a light switch and then a exhaust fan switch in there also.
Are these exhaust fans? Are they the one like they're like somewhat sensor detected or something like that?
No, so that's a whole house fan. We don't install the whole house fans anymore because we have the ERV systems. Those were like timered. We did away with those, so now everything is manual operation with a switch.
That's the flip. Okay.
Yeah. So and then it's rated. The CFMs for the fan are rated for the bathroom size. But yeah, they're just there for humidity, exhaust, etc. Nothing that's timered or like has a detection option on it. Okay.
Okay.
And then your coat closet here, so this will have wire shelf in it installed, and then it's going to be the same flooring, the LVP flooring that continues through here.
I think we should have the engineered hardware,
Yes,
right? But yeah, same idea. I mean, it's basically first level all the way through.
Yeah, so your hard surface upgrade.
Okay.
And then LED lights in here, so you have two, and then plenty of receptacles all throughout throughout this room, the way the New Jersey code works out, you're never going to need an extension cord in your home. There's just receptacles everywhere, which is really nice to have.
Yeah, that's helpful. It's interesting too because I've seen a few builds where they place that register in different spots, and that's actually kind of ideal because it's not dead in the center where you could put something, but not directly under the window. Which,
they're pretty thoughtful where they run a lot of this stuff. They definitely have the customer in mind, especially like in the kitchen areas, so there's not hitting weird sides of the island where like a bar stool or a chair will run. They do a pretty good job in being mindful of the locations and everything.
I guess one question too, like with any of like the little gaps there between like the different pre-engineered pieces, any process for like.
So what you're not seeing yet, and actually is on schedule for later today, is our air seal and draft stop.
Okay.
And like I mentioned, my framers still have to come back between this afternoon and tomorrow. There's a few things that they need to do. So like this common wall here on the back side of the garage, the top of the wall where it then carries through into the garage, that's going to have barriers installed. Okay. That's just draft stopping. All around the windows here, this will have a white foam that gets installed. That's an air sealant. And then you'll have air sealant on your top plates there. All of these gaps will be sealed. So we install a fire rated foam, which is orange, and then we do our air seal foam, which is just white. Okay. So the house is going to be airtight. Yeah, all these little gaps and penetrations get sealed. It's just not done before this meeting.
Okay.
And that's inspected on the frame inspection as well. So I have the rough frame inspection, and then I have an insulation inspection. And usually that insulation inspection, he's getting a second look at all of the air sealing too. He's pretty thorough with everything.
Okay.
So over here, large island, receptacles at each end. You're going to have the sink here in the middle, and then dishwasher, I believe, is on the right-hand side, and then base cabinets here on the left. And then you have the nice little returns that create that nook for the bar stools and chairs to pull into. When you go to order chairs for your island, make sure you get countertop height and not bar height. Okay.
We went through that going to our current apartment because we went from like 42 to 36.
Yeah,
so
it makes a big difference.
So hopefully we can keep,
Yeah, you don't want your knees to be above the countertops. Fridge nook here. This is all going to be drywalled. You have your water line there for the refrigerator with ice making capabilities, a water dispenser, etc. You'll have wall cabinets overhead, and then you're going to have these backsplash receptacles here as well, and then upper cabinets, base cabinets, etc.
Okay.
And then pantry there in between. And then you're going to have over here your gas cooktop with your range hood. The microwave gets mounted on that wall.
Right.
And more backsplash receptacles as well. As you can see, there's plenty installed here, so no shortage of being able to plug in kitchen appliances.
The cut-in too, or however you want to look at it, for the fridge is a nice kind of touch for like the standard depth or counter, that whole thing.
Yeah, they do a good job with that. Gas stub out for your range there as well. And then you just need a 110 receptacle for a gas range because you're only using the electric to ignite the gas. And then this is your ductwork here for your range hood.
Okay.
And then with your hard surface upgrade, like you mentioned, it's going to carry throughout this whole first floor pretty much. And then all of your, on the middle level, all of your supply registers are going to be in the floor. Upstairs, we have them in the ceiling. Okay. And then, like this cutout here, that's for dropping drywall down into the basement. So that'll all get re-nailed and secured. We glue it and screw it. And then I'm trying to think what else down here that's of value to mention in this immediate area. Plenty of receptacles. There's a lot of two-way or three-way switches. So whenever you're entering common areas, you'll be able to turn on the lights from multiple points in the home. So entryways, stairwells, etc. That's going to be a large return there. So you do have that in a common area in the foyer. Okay.
Okay. Right, thermostat down here. I think.
Yep, so that brown wire is going to be for your thermostat, and that's going to be that Ecobee Wi-Fi enabled thermostat.
Okay. And I know you mentioned, but what is it? One zone dual damper?
Yeah, one zone with dampers. And
Okay.
I'll show you those dampers when we go down in the basement.
Okay. Okay.
Study, I think.
Mhm.
Yep, study.
Yeah.
It's always. I have another St. Lawrence across the way there, and it's got the different rooms. So
Oh yeah, the flex room.
I'm always confusing the names of them. So study here.
Okay.
Again, you have a register, 4 LED lights installed, and then plenty of windows. This is going to be a really nice room.
Mm-hmm.
These bigger single family houses, it's really nice to see all the different dedicated rooms.
Mm-hmm.
I built townhomes a majority of my career, and they're really limited on all the space.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing these larger single families are really cool to see all the dedicated spaces. And we also have a closet here as well. Forgot
Right.
to mention also.
Okay.
All right, so we'll walk down into the basement. Watch your step.
Yeah.
Watch the propane line here as well.
Okay.
So you're going to have rails that carry down on the left-hand side, and then this is going to be a rake rail. All right, so remember when we did your pre-construction meeting, I mentioned there's going to be a door here, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this, watch your step there.
Mhm.
So this it still needs to be framed out, but I have it marked here. So you're going to have a water meter that gets installed between these two shutoffs.
Okay.
This is just a hose bit for the side, and then this is your irrigation stub out.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you have a clean out here for your main sewer that goes out to the sewer in the street.
Okay.
So we do have to put a door here.
Right.
This is going to be insulated still. It's just something we have to do for access. And if I were to just put a panel here, you would have to like reach up into the wall to get to this, and we want to make sure everything is very easily accessible.
Okay.
It's a 2/6 door, so standard with what we have throughout the home.
Okay.
And I'm gonna make it swing this way, so it's gonna be a right swing door. So I'm gonna make sure it comes this way.
Okay. Okay.
That way, if I put it to swing this way, there's potential for it. It would just make it a tight space there.
Okay.
It would have the clearance, but it would be tight. So I'm just making it come this way.
Okay.
All right, and that'll be painted with the semi-gloss or with the the semi-gloss white that we have just throughout the rest of the home. It'll look like the Narnia bureau.
Yeah.
It'll be the bridge or the door to nowhere. So just that acting as an access panel.
Okay. Any thoughts? I don't know if it's a concern around like insulation in that area versus the rest of the basement in terms of.
No, it's pretty much going to be. It'll be the same. I wouldn't worry too much about cold air intrusion or anything like that.
Okay.
Okay. And then all of this will be carpeted down here. Drop ceiling to account for the beams, but also your HVAC ductwork. And then these are going to be trimmed and drywalled as well, these columns here.
Okay.
Now, when you asked about your dampers, so we have a return here. These are your electronic dampers. I'm going to have an access panel installed here. It's just going to be a grill, so it will look like a return, but it's just going to be a grill. And then if an HVAC contractor needs to access that for any kind of serviceability, they can get to it.
Okay.
But you do have a second one as well for the other supply trunk that goes throughout the home.
Okay.
So these are your electronic dampers, and they're basically just opening and closing your ductwork and allowing and controlling air to go where you want it to go based off of temperature.
Okay.
Okay. So all these orange spray paint that you see throughout those are things that I've marked that need to be corrected. A lot of it has been corrected, but there's some little things that I met with my framer in here this morning as well that needs correcting, like some little areas that are out of square or out of plumb, some bowed studs, and then some fire blocking and draft stopping that he needs to install.
Okay.
Again, another large portion of your finished basement, plenty of LED lights all throughout. I will say it's nice, even without this light, because of those windows, you can still see a little bit down here.
Yeah.
So it's not just like a dark, cold basement.
Right. Is there a reason that, because I know a lot of the different communities they built it in won't have the
don't
hopper
have
window.
that.
Yeah.
So these houses are large, and with these large basements, especially during like the real humid months of construction, and our dimensional lumber that we use for your floor system, we just like to be able to get airflow down here before we can get the house weather tight and climate controlled.
Okay.
So we're able to open those up and create cross airflow. Honestly, that's the main purpose of us installing them.
Okay.
But then obviously for you guys, it's just beneficial because you just have more windows.
Yeah.
So that's nice to have.
Yeah. That's definitely nice.
Basement bathroom here. So you'll have a single vanity toilet and a shower. And that's going to be your LVP flooring installed in here. Tile surround, your diverters there on that side. And then that's just an empty space for the chase that's there behind the shower.
Okay.
But you'll have an exhaust fan there. And then you'll also have a light switch, and there's going to be a light in the shower also. And then towel bars, toilet paper holders get mounted in the bathroom, and then the toilet paper holder on the side of the vanity.
Okay.
This will have a vanity. It won't be a pedestal sink.
Do they do blocking for the...
Typically, no. So the towel bars, those are drywall anchors.
Okay.
And then the sides of the vanities, it just goes into the frame of the vanity.
Okay.
So they do a pretty good job. And our third-party inspectors, actually, that's one thing they know to look. Anywhere we have towel bars, they usually give those a pretty good shake to make sure that they're secured.
Okay.
But those companies use our install company uses drywall anchors for that. They're not just screwing it right into the drywall.
Okay.
And then, so you'll have unfinished area here. We can call it the mechanical area. So there's a lot going on in here. So you have an ejector pit. That's different from your sump crocks. So because you have a basement bathroom, you can't flush a toilet up, right?
Yeah.
So it goes beneath the slab into this ejector pit. The ejector pit will then pump your sewage out up into the sewer, into the main sewer line. These ejector pits, or these sump crocks, are connected to your interior and exterior drain tiles that surround the footing and foundation of your home. So these are collecting rain and groundwater, all right? Those will have two pumps. One pump's installed. I'm waiting on my second pump, but I'm not too concerned about that. So you'll have your two sump crocks here, and then you're going to have a tankless water heater that gets put here. That is a gas-powered unit, so it does have a gas line running to it as well. And then you have another hose spigot shut off here. Okay. This is all just ventilation for your tankless water heater. And then you have the gas line running there as well. So pretty straightforward, but like I said, this will all have that FSK insulation along it. And then it'll just be the exposed concrete floor that'll all be swept out. And then over here, so this is your ERV. This is responsible for your air exchange in the home. So I gave you a little bit of a spiel about it when we did your pre-construction meeting, and then I'll go into more detail about it when we do your new home orientation. But it's mounted down here and out of the way. It's nice. Everything is kind of centralized. Your ejector pit, two sump crocks, tankless water heater, your furnace is all right here. And in a dedicated space, so it's nice to have. This will all get hooked up once we actually finally have power and gas. They'll run the gas line to it, bleed it out, and then we'll be able to juice it up once we have our power to the home. I'd imagine, knock on wood, we'll have power before gas, since they have to run that gas main through the community. And then over here is low voltage. So this is for your dual ports, your Cat 6 and coax. So if you wanted to put your modem down here, you can do that. So and then there is a receptacle, a 110. I don't want to mess that up, but there's a 110 outlet underneath. You can see your wire running up to, so you will be able to plug something into this little on-cue panel. And then this is another damper here, secondary, or your main damper for, I believe this is for this is for your second floor. The damper that's on the interior of the finished area of the basement, that's for the basement and first floor. All right.
That's good to know.
And then you have furnace filter area there. So again, when we do your new home orientation, I'll go over all of that.
Is this this system in particular, is this like a by code thing or a relatively newer thing?
Energy Star program.
That's
so for us to hit our Energy Star metrics, we make our houses very airtight. to the point where if you're not coming and going, opening and closing windows and doors, and allowing that natural air exchange, this can make up for that and pump in fresh air into your home to get you that fresh air exchange.
And that, I think you mentioned that was going to be controllable. Was it like upstairs or?
No, this is your control panel.
Okay, that's the main one.
My HVAC contractor sets it up to run.
They set up. Okay.
Yeah. So, but like I said, the functionality of it, you can control how often or how little it's running. Some people don't even want to use it because they're opening. They have their windows and doors open a lot, so they're allowing that fresh air exchange. It honestly doesn't take much to make up for what this does naturally by opening and closing windows, especially in the spring and fall when the temperatures are nice and you have everything open. In the summertime, hey, if you're holed up inside and you guys work from home and it's really hot outside and you don't want to go out or have windows and doors open, have this running, and this will bring in your fresh air. Okay,
but it'll be running on its own schedule, essentially?
Yeah, but it'll kick on. Okay. Yeah, you won't have to come down here, turn it on to make it go.
Right.
It'll do its own thing.
That circuit board there, do you know what that?
That's all for your HVAC system there.
That's for HVAC, okay.
For dampers.
Okay. Yeah, the finished basement space I think will be it's just nice. We have no storage now, so we're in a 1,000 square foot apartment, 2-bed apartment. So
storage is so valuable. Naturally, right? Hot air rises, cold air falls. In the summertime, the basement is going to be real nice. It's just nice to be down in the basement. Since, especially with you having the dampers, the house is very well balanced. So your second floor isn't going to be really hot. Your basement's not going to be really cold. But naturally, one will be hotter, one will be cooler, right? We do a good job of balancing to negate the temperature difference.
Okay.
But yeah, in the summertime, the basements, I love being in a basement in the summer.
Yeah.
Alright, so, like I mentioned, this window will be in next week.
Right, okay.
That'll get installed. Watch your step here. We have your oak stairs covered up.
Okay.
So we do have your loft here. Again, 4 LED lights installed. You have your ceiling registers that you'll be able to see all throughout, and those are all insulated. There are some areas you'll see where we have your bath fans, so that I need to extend the insulation. The insulation is going to come all the way down to the box, so I'm sure your inspector will point that out to you.
Okay.
But that's something that I won't pass my insulation inspection without that being done. So you can keep your mind at ease about that. So, loft area, this is all going to be carpeted. All of your bedrooms are carpeted, and closets as well. And then you'll have your ceramic floors in the bathrooms, and then your surrounds in the showers.
Okay.
This is going to be a capped wall here, so it'll be drywall, trim. You're going to have that, it's either, I think it's by 2x6 material. Okay. That'll go on our 1x6 material flat stock, and that's going to be painted just like the rest of the trim in the home, that semi-gloss white.
Okay.
And then again, just like downstairs, plenty of natural light in the home. All these ample windows are really nice to have.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. And then honestly, the paint that we paint your walls, the City Loft white, it's not pure white, so your semi-gloss white trim pops against it. But it also acts as a nice base coat for custom colors that you put up. But then, as it is, it just kind of keeps the house nice and bright.
Yeah.
So that City Loft is a good color. I actually painted my whole basement City Loft.
I did. It's a good neutral and right. Like pure white, it's so easy to get look dirty over time, get damaged. So it's
it's nice to have.
Yeah.
So we have the owner's suite here.
Okay.
I love your closet setup. So having these two spaces is really nice.
Yeah.
And you have a window in here as well. So obviously that was missing just last week. This went in. Wasn't yesterday. What's today? Today's Friday. Went in Wednesday.
Okay.
So that was installed. We have your LED lights on each side of the closet area as well. And like I mentioned, this is all going to be carpeted.
Right. Do you know how they with the wire shelving. I think there's like single layers and a couple layers depending on the wall.
I have to double check the plans, and I'll let you
Okay.
know. I forget, every closet's a little bit different. So basically, when you see here, every wall in this portion, and then obviously since you have a window over there, it's going to be shelf.
Okay.
And let me see if it's stacked. So it's going to be 1 and 2.
Gotcha.
And then 1 here.
Okay.
And then on this side,
Two,
it's
one.
going to be 1 and 2.
2 again. Okay.
And
Is there anything along this wall, or is this
yes, this is one long one.
one long? Okay.
Yep. So your door, it's going to be a 2/6 door that swings this way. It's an in swing. And then one long one that goes across here. So that's actually a lot of storage. That's nice.
Yeah.
Especially for hanging clothes. That's going to be real nice along this wall. All right, so tray ceiling here.
Yeah.
4 LED lights on the inside of the tray.
Cool.
As well as we talked about earlier.
I'm glad we got the tray.
Yeah,
well.
it looks nice. It looks really
Makes a
nice.
difference.
It just kind of opens up the room even more. And then your windows all throughout here. This I can't keep saying it enough. Like just
A lot of light, yeah.
yeah,
Right.
it's a lot of light. Dual port over here on this wall, so TV, cable, coax, internet.
Cool.
You're gonna have a light switch for a switch controlled outlet, but also your overhead LEDs. So your switch controlled is that guy there. So if you plug in a lamp, you can control it from the switch when you walk in.
Okay.
You have an air supply there. You've got another air supply in your closet, and then that is a return. You have another air supply here in the
Okay. For the light controlled switches, does Ride still do the thing where they flip the switch to make it?
yeah,
like,
they turn it up
okay.
and down.
Okay. That's one thing I
And
noticed.
only one portion of the receptacle is switch controlled.
Okay. Oh, okay.
The rest of it is hot. So, like, if you had an alarm clock plugged in, you're not resetting the alarm clock.
Right. Okay. Okay.
We've got a water closet here, so you'll have your toilet. Toilet paper holder will be installed. I believe, I'm not sure, I have to double check too if we put a towel bar in there. I don't think we do or not. Exhaust fan, and then another air supply as well. Obviously, there will be a light in there. And then you have your shower here.
Right.
So you'll have your ceramic surround, shower door, light on the interior, and then your exhaust fan here.
Okay. Okay.
Large double vanity. You can see the span of it.
Yeah.
So the sinks have a good amount of separation in between them. And then you'll have the dual mirrors, dual light fixtures as well. So you're just looking at your 2 hot and cold water supplies. And then this is just your drain, and then that's a vent.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
And then receptacles on each side of your vanity as well.
Okay. Okay.
And then linen closet. So that should have, I think, 4 wire shelves in there.
4 shelves. Okay.
Let me double check.
Yeah, are they all kind of the same
4.
layout, like the hall one out there and the?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 wire shelves in there.
Okay.
And just a toilet paper holder in the water closet.
Okay. Do you know towel bar here?
Towel bar is going to be. Where are we? Towel bar is going to be all along that wall.
That wall there.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
And the double vanity is set up. So you have the main portions with the sink, and then this is lower. So it'll be.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I don't think it's not technically like a makeup.
Not for like a seat under.
Yeah, we're for a seat.
Okay.
Yep, it's not set up for that, but it is lower, and just additional countertop space.
And like separate mirrors for each.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
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 All right. So, as I mentioned, you have a return there. Mechanical chase here, so this is just HVAC ductwork, your supplies and returns. Hall closet, laundry closet here. So we've got hot and cold with a drain for the washing machine, and then you've got your dryer vent there.
Right.
So that's going to be a attachment and then a clean out, and then hook up for your electric dryer.
Electric. Okay.
But I believe you aren't doing. Are you doing a washer dryer package? I don't.
No, yeah, we're gonna get it separate. Yeah.
Yep. And then just cabinet blocking, since you do have cabinets that go overhead.
Okay.
And then again, light overhead, air supply.
And they have shelving behind here, I think.
Yes, I believe so. 4 16-inch shelves again. Yep.
Okay, shelving there, and I guess the other. Might have passed it, but the second thermostat is that?
It should be in your bedroom.
Okay, that's in the bedroom. Okay. Okay.
For that little brown wire. Yep, right here. Right when you walk in.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
In a closet or linen closet, whatever you want to refer to it as. 4 bedroom here. 4 LED lights. An air supply, 2 windows, and then a walk-in closet with a small window as well.
Yeah, this is a big secondary bedroom.
Yeah,
with the closet
nice.
too.
It's very nice.
Okay.
And then every walk-in closet has overhead light, air supply as well.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yep. Walk-in closets get them. Small closets do not.
Right. Okay.
And then another thing you'll notice, so when you look up in the attic system, so obviously we put drywall in your ceiling, right? And then we do blown-in insulation all throughout the attic space, insulated ductwork. So this ductwork here, that's going to have, and that's just your dryer vent.
Okay.
That's going to have insulation pretty much filling around it. But that ductwork is insulated because it is above the blown-in insulation, so it is exposed to the varying temperatures of your attic system. So we insulate. That's all insulated. So insulated ductwork. All your R49 blown-in insulation will go up here as well.
Okay.
And then just some miscellaneous wiring for all of your bedrooms.
Right.
And overhead lighting, and then some plumbing vents that run through the attic space as well.
Okay.
Tall bedroom here. So this will be a double vanity. It'll also have 2 light fixtures and 2 mirrors. Much smaller double vanity compared to the owner's bedroom. So it'll just be 2 slimmer mirrors that get installed, and then a receptacle in the middle.
Okay.
A little bit different with the code change.
Okay.
So the old code, they're trying. The old code, this would be a large mirror, and this would be over here.
Oh, right. Okay.
They're trying to remove the proximity of that to the tub.
Okay. Interesting.
Toilet flange there as well. So you'll have a towel bar on this side, and then a toilet paper holder on that side of the bedroom.
Okay. So yeah, like you said, 2 separate mirrors for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then 2 separate fixtures as well.
Okay.
2 bedrooms. Honestly, they're pretty much twins, except for the closet layouts.
Right.
And obviously you have a large double window in here. So walk-in closet. This one does also have your attic access. So this is just going to have trim around it with a piece of drywall and insulation. We don't install a ladder that gets pulled down or anything like that.
Right.
So you will still need your own ladder to go, and then you would have to just push up on the drywall and then move it over to the side if you ever wanted to go up there.
Okay.
Now, obviously, we have these caulk with their little rat runs. If someone used to go up there, obviously they'd be walking along the rat runs or along the trusses. So as you can see, there's no physical storage platforms up there, so it's not a dedicated storage space.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, all this is going to be carpeted. Every bedroom has a switch-controlled outlet.
Everyone, okay.
So you can see the marked SW. So it'll be 1 switch for overhead lights, another switch for your switch-controlled.
Is that just bedrooms or any other?
Yeah, there's no other. The living room has a switch control as well.
Okay.
But that's it.
Okay.
And then this switch, I don't know if you can see it. You gotta find the light bulb. So right here, there will be a light bulb that gets installed in the attic as well. So if someone's up there, they can see what to do. This one's going to have double doors.
Right.
So a little bit different of a door setup, but same wire shelving that'll get installed. I believe it's just one that goes overhead, and no light on the interior.
Okay. Do you do access panels for like the rear of the tub, or is that
We don't.
We
That's
don't.
not
Okay.
something we install. If that's something you wanted, you could definitely do it after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
I will say it's very easy if you wanted to.
Just to, yeah.
They make some really nice, easy to install, just plastic access panels that are spring loaded, and if you just had a regular utility blade, you can just score the drywall, punch through, and then put your panel over it.
Okay.
It's very easy to do if you wanted to after the fact. When you look at the very peak, we have ridge vents at the peak of your roof structure. So with ridge vents, you don't need a physical attic fan. So that's how our roof systems work. It comes in here through our eaves, blows hot air up and out through your ridge vent. Those orange brackets up there are safety line devices for guys working up on the roof. They can pull those through and tuck them in at their leisure.
So no attic fan or anything, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, everything works through ventilation through the ridge vent.
Okay.
And then let's see, everything up in this, all these 2x4 spanning strong back. This is all truss bracing here. Crow's feet for your gable wall or for your gable truss. It's all just structural bracing required for the roof framing.
Okay. Is there for the garage? Is there an access panel down there for any of the roof?
There's not.
No. Okay. I mean, there's not much to it really because you have the upper floor.
It would be. Yeah, I can see why you would ask that though.
Right.
Hey, I take any little space. Any space you can get, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might add some like wire shelving out there and just
definitely
along the rear walls.
I will say, the way we finish our garages, you can see all the studs because we just tape everything and then we do a single coat, skin coat over that.
Okay.
And that's it. So you can see all the screw holes for where it's going into the studs.
Okay, that's good.
So, I mean, I always tell customers, hey, when you're moving into your home, a stud finder is so valuable.
Yeah.
So all of our exterior walls are 16 inches on center, and then our interior non-load bearing walls are 24 inches on center. The issue with that is, so like, let's say right here, this is non-load bearing, but there's so much going on in here that a stud finder, if you just happen to put your stud finder over here, there's your stud, but this is going horizontally. It's not a physical vertical stud.
Right.
So then all of a sudden you go to hang something and you're like, oh, there's a stud here. And then you go put it through and you don't hit anything. So there's just so much that goes into just a regular wall. The exterior walls, those are a lot more simplified, but even there you have jacks. And then if you pull off a jack, all of a sudden that messes up your 16 inches on center, depending on where you're pulling it from.
All right, and so now let's go through our pre-drywall inspection. So as I mentioned beforehand, we did hire an independent inspector to do a pre-drywall inspection on the home. I want to give a big shout out to Andrew Dobbins of Dobbins Home Inspection. He did a great job and very transparent throughout the whole process. It took around a couple hours. He was more than comfortable with shadowing him and seeing what he was doing and asking questions, although we took some time to just get some other things done during that process, but did catch up with him at the end. He provided us with a digital report that we could review and that our PM could get a link to online to access, and so I'm going to just walk through what he found with the build, and hopefully this is of some help to you. If you're building a home, you can maybe watch out for some of these different things that he found in our build. So just one thing I will point out, you will see different notices here in terms of the report. Items to monitor / maintenance that are in sort of a blue or info category. You have items that are in an orange or amber that are recommendations and upgrades. And RPM did note the fact that recommendations or upgrades, i.e. things that are not blatant code violations, are things that Ryan may or may not choose to handle, basically based on their own discretion as to how much of an issue it is. And then you have the more blatant or obvious code violations, which are in the important safety hazard category. And so I'll just walk through what our inspector found with our home at this point. So as you can see, he gathered a lot of different details about the home. Not too much to talk about there. On the structural side, he did find a few things. So one on the sort of warning side was the fact that nail plates were missing in a number of spots and locations. So of course, this is more important if you're trying to ensure that you avoid, if you're nailing something to the wall, puncturing through any wiring, any plumbing. There are certainly nail plates visible in a lot of locations, but not necessarily 100% consistently through where wires were run, especially if they were close to sort of the edge of the wall or one of the ends of the studs. This is something that definitely falls in that recommendation or warning category. I think it is helpful for the fact that we documented the home so we know where everything is and where wires and plumbing and everything is run, but certainly would be a good thing to work on and improve. Now, another area you might see here are some gaps in the studs where they're not in contact, mentioning that there could be some issues at some point with sagging or cracking with the home. Now, this was just found in the second floor stair area. You can see sort of a gap there. Something that could probably be fixed pretty easily, but I'm glad he was able to spot that. The next thing he noticed, and again, this is maybe a result of the different trades that are working on homes, is the fact that there are a number of studs that were cut or notched in different areas, maybe in a less than ideal way or in, certain locations or situations where they shouldn't have been. So, there's a big difference depending on where this is done. Is this on an exterior wall? In this case, it is an interior wall. You can see in the first floor bathroom. So I believe that wall is running alongside the study, which would be my office eventually at some point. Something that could benefit from a more precise cut. Again, this isn't structural or anything. And of course, it's sometimes tough because the trades are working on different parts of the home at different times. So he did note this, and that is something we're going to keep an eye on. Now, something else that was noticed on the structural side of things was a cracked truss, at least on the bottom cord of a truss that is in the owner's primary bathroom area. This is something we actually did not notice, and I thought we had given a lot of those trusses a fairly good look, so I'm glad he was able to spot it. Something that could probably be bolstered without too much effort, but again, something else we're going to keep an eye on. And the last on the structural side of things, again, kind of in that territory of potentially resulting in sagging or settling issues down the line, are some trusses not having a proper bearing on the different studs and the walls below it. So as you can see, some cases where nails were missed and or the actual roof truss isn't seated directly on that wall. As they say, the devil is in the details. You'd have to really get into these spaces to look at it. This is the benefit of getting an inspection at the pre-drywall stage, so I'm glad our inspector caught it. And we will see how these items and areas get addressed as time goes on. Now, when it comes to the exterior side of things, in terms of what the inspector found, pretty much all of these aren't a great surprise, and I think in many cases are just the result of work in progress and or work that our PM noted to us would be completed at some point after the fact. So I mentioned the fact that these siding contractors are currently working on the home. So yes, there is missing flashing and some other detail work around some of the different areas where the utility hookups are, some of the different finish work around the siding and these different connection points for water, as you can see for some of these other utility areas. This siding was just being put on during the day, so I'm not surprised this hasn't been finished yet, or had, any caulking or any little spray insulation or anything around it yet. Though, of course, we would expect there to be in the coming weeks once we get closer to settlement. And yes, we will be getting a settlement and closing inspection as well from the same inspector. So we'll be looking to make sure all these areas are buttoned up at that point, if not before. Again, sort of another just warning, but nothing too surprising here. The building wrap hadn't been cut yet for some of these vents, and that's because siding hadn't been placed there yet. We expect those would be cut as soon as the siding was placed. Broken windows. So our PM did talk to us about this, and mainly for the fact that there are going to be a number of broken windows that occur throughout the build, some that are blatantly obvious, such as you see the actual glass shattered and cracked and that need to be replaced. You can see they marked them already with an X. Others maybe in other cases where they're not as obvious, such as the vinyl trim around the windows perhaps are cracked and they'll still need to be replaced. Our PM mentioned to us that basically towards the end of the build, they do a final replacement on all the damaged windows and that they typically avoid doing it throughout the course of the build, say at this stage, just because it's likely that others may get damaged unintentionally by other trades or other work going on in the home. So something that we're not concerned about overall, but of course we want to make sure all of those windows get fixed and replaced and that they all work once we have the home at settlement. The other area around window damage, and this is one we didn't notice, and this is just because we're not typically walking, at least along the sides and rear of the home too much, as it's been generally a mud pit and a construction zone for a lot of this process, is the fact that there was a damaged window on the right side of the home near the bathroom. So what you can see here is that the casing around the window is cracked, of course. And again, this was maybe a window that didn't have an explicit X on it, but yet another one we want to make sure gets replaced towards the end. So we have a number of these windows that we've been keeping our eye on, and we're going to make sure they get taken care of as well. Now, as we scroll through some other parts of the report, you'll see the plumbing section here. No red flags in this area. Now, it is worth noting that not everything is complete at this point. You'll see this is where the tankless water heater would go and will get installed, but that is yet to be done. Some of the utility hookups as well have yet to be completed. So as you can see, the gas meter and that gas line has yet to be run actually throughout the community even at this point. I think this is taking place in the next week. And so these will be things that will be tracked later towards the settlement and closing inspection when we do that. Electrical work, no real red flags at this point. Again, not necessarily 100% completed. However, we have a 200 amp panel. Everything that the inspector did see seemed to check out at this point. Now, one thing our inspector did note on the heating side, and you'll see some of the different HVAC areas documented here, are the fact that there was an inadequate clearance for one of the vents, so that the furnace vent was being too close to the fresh air intake vent, and recommending that this could be a safety hazard if not relocated or addressed. Yet I don't even know what that minimum code requirement is, but something that we're going to make sure that our PM takes a look at. Not much to report on the cooling side or in the attic. No insulation has been done yet. You really do want to have a pre-drywall inspection done at the point prior to getting insulation installed, of course prior to drywall. And then really the last piece that our inspector noted was one of the exhaust fans in the first floor bathroom. Not quite connected. It needs to be connected. So hopefully an easy enough fix, but something good to catch now. So that's what we're looking at with the pre-drywall inspection here. Really nothing that is a true deal breaker in the sense of this build or that has raised any absolutely major red flags, but definitely some structural things that we want to make sure our PM takes care of. Some other areas that we want to make sure we keep our eye on, such as all the damaged windows, and that some of these other more moderate recommendation areas get buttoned up. And I did get a rundown from our inspector towards the end of his time inspecting the home, which basically said just as much, i.e. no absolutely major concerns, but certainly just a few areas that'll need to be looked at. Again, definitely worth the money, the time, the effort to get independent inspections on your new build. As I mentioned before, we passed these along to our PM. He's going to be taking a look at them over the coming days, and we'll see how the repairs on some of these items go over the coming weeks. We'll be checking up with him on that. And so that's where we are with the week 8 construction period. Pre-drywall is here, and we are now moving our way into insulation, drywall, and a whole lot more. Hopefully this video has been of some help to you. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe if it has. Of course, be sure to check out the many other videos on the channel around this Ryan Homes St. Lawrence build. And yes, be on the lookout because there are many, and I do mean many more to come. For now, that is all I have to say. So thanks for watching.